me, you lost 100 pounds.
He just jumped right into that.
Let me, like, that is unheard of, bro. What was your motivation to losing the weight? And I say that because you know how it be, man. A lot of times you be like, oh, this is what I am now, whatever. What made you say, yo, I'm doing it?
Well, I had been trying to do it for years. I don't know if you had been watching me, but I've been trying to do it for a long time. So basically, like the way that I carry my weight is like different than other people. So I could be really, really heavy, and you could not, and it could not look like I'm that heavy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because of like just like how my structure is. And so I have been gradually getting heavier since, I think, when was Vine? Vine was 2013?
Yeah.
13, 14, 15. No. 14. 2013, 14, and then I'm just trying based off of like projects is how I like equate like my weight. And so in 2014, I was in Vancouver doing Backstrom, and I probably was around 250, 260 around, like fluctuating in between that time. And then a year goes past, and I started doing Rush Hour, and then I wanted to try and like lose weight for that, right?
Yeah.
So I lost a little bit, and I probably got down to, you know, I was back up to like 260. I probably got back down like 250 again, maybe for Rush Hour. And then when I went to go do the Meg in New Zealand, and I had like this Russian trainer there for like a month beforehand, I was in decent enough shape there, probably around 260, 250, 260, but I was like mobile. I didn't look like when you watch the Meg, you don't look and be like, damn, he fat as hell.
Right.
But I was like kind of like a normal person, but I was a little bigger than I should have been. But I don't know what the hell happened. I turned 40 during the Meg. This is in 2016. I turned 40, and when I came back, I got my wisdom teeth taken out that December, and then I don't know what the hell happened, but I just like blew up for the next 2 years. Like I just got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And then I had what happened? 2017. I was getting big. I was on the rap and shit. And then 2018, I still was getting bigger and bigger until I ballooned all the way up from 260, 270 to 320.
Wow.
I ballooned up to 320. Now, granted, this is during me trying to lose the weight.
Yeah.
I went to the gym, I think in 2017, was the first time that I tried this thing. I was like, I'm going to go to the gym for 100 days straight.
I watched you do it, yeah.
I was like, I'm going to go for 100 days straight. And that 100 days is a difficult thing to do.
Yeah.
Because this is like 100 days, like no matter what.
Right.
No matter what your day is, if you're traveling, if you're sick,
Yeah.
if you gotta go, right?
Yeah.
Now it became not about the fitness. It became more about my own mentality and my own, just to see what I was made of type of shit, to see if I could, because I've never done anything for 100 days straight except
tough,
take
man.
a shit. Like, you know, so I, you know, to make a choice and a decision to do this, like when you don't have to, was crazy. So I did that, right? And it didn't help me physically, really, you know, because I was kind of just doing the same. After a while, after you go so much, sometimes you just there, you know, going through the motions. And so then I did that, and then some months later, I tried to get my son to like do it with me, and so I told him I'd give him $300 if he did it, just so he can do it.
Yeah.
And I did it with him.
Yeah.
Now in the doing it with him, I got to 100 days. He got to 100 days, and he was like, I quit. Like, give me my $300. I'm done with this bullshit. I don't want to do it no more. But me, I was like, well, I'm going to keep going. I already did 100 days before. Let me see if I can do 200 days.
Yeah.
In the midst of doing 200 days, I was like, yo, when I got to 200 days, I was like, well, what I'm going to do now? I ain't going to just stop. Fuck it. Let me just see if I could do a year. And I literally did 1 full year. I did over a year. I probably did like 379 days, something like that. But this is like, so you gotta see. This went through all of the holidays. So this went through Christmas. Now that was the hardest part for me because I'm like, I go back to Detroit and I don't have no gym there. So I literally, when I went back to Detroit, I stayed in hotels the whole day just so that I could have a gym at the hotel.
That's commitment.
Like, it was commitment, but it was like, I'm looking back at my Snapchat memories because I see those all the time, and I'm like, oh, day 295, and I'm fat as fuck, big ass sugar bear face. I'm big as fuck talking about I'm in the gym.
Damn.
And it was just ridiculous. And so the problem was not the gym. The problem was what I was eating. And it's such a misconception. People talk about that all the time. You hear it, but you just like, I just work that shit off in the gym. Hell no. Ain't no work nothing off in the gym. The gym for me is maintenance. It's like to tighten things up. It's not to actually make you lose the shit. Like you could not go to the gym and eat properly and lose weight. It's just to make everything tight, you know. And so the eating was a problem because even though I was going to the gym every day, I would eat every fucking thing that I wanted nonstop, and that was the issue. So I had to get a hold of that of the eating thing, and that was the big struggle that I was having. And so last February, I'm telling you this whole story. This is the first time that I've actually I've actually like said like everything like in a public thing. So when the Meg came out in 2018, now granted, I shot it in 2016. It didn't come out till 2018. Right? And this is when I bloomed up. Now I'm thinking, shit, I did the Meg. My career is about to take off. I'm about to be that nigga. Like, I don't die in this motherfucker. Me and LL are the only ones that survive shark movies. Like, shit is about to get popping for me. Bruh, I did the Meg, nigga. Crickets happened after I did it. You know, like after the 2016, because it's not out, it's not, you know. But I'm thinking, my brain is like, shit is about to go.
Right.
Nothing happened. Like, I didn't work. Like, nothing. Like, that whole, like, I did do 3 episodes of this show, Unsolved, that Biggie and Tupac story. But I didn't audition for that. Like, Anthony Hemingway, great director. He's a personal friend of mine. I worked with him before. He just asked me to come do those.
Nice.
So I don't even really count that because it was just like 3 episodes that was like, that I didn't have to work for it. I just got, you know. But on my own, like auditioning, getting something, nothing. And then, so that's the whole 2017. But I wasn't tripping because, for one, I had a lot of money. For 2, I was rapping. And that was a big thing for me because it's my first time that I could actually put out a full-on real project with crazy features and all of this shit. Like, that, I was like living my dream because beforehand, you know, before like the internet craze and the streaming and all that stuff, you gotta have a deal to get your music out to the masses. But now it's different. So I was focused on that. I wasn't tripping the fact that I wasn't working. I was turning shit down, like, you know, like turning auditions down. I wasn't turning jobs down. Let's be clear. I wasn't, motherfuckers weren't giving me offers and I was like, no, thank you. But they will give me, I don't like necessarily procedural dramas, you know, so I would like turn, and a lot of the pilots and stuff was that happening in 2017. So I was turning all that stuff down, and I was rapping anyway, so it didn't matter. Then 2018 came, and I was like, all right, now shit is about to crack. It's 2018. I'm preparing this second album. The Meg is going to drop. The Unsolved thing already dropped. You know, I had a Super Bowl commercial. I did do a commercial. So I was like, oh, 2018 about to be crazy. Man, I went on the press run for the Meg. I spent all this money on these publicists, I had a music publicist and a theatrical publicist to coincide because I had an album that was coming out the same day as the movie. Nothing. Like, I spent like thousands of dollars
Nothing?
on a publicist. I got nothing. No post on nothing. No interviews for the music. No. And now prior to that, when I did the first album in 2017, Torn Pages, I had everything. I mean, a lot of it came from my own personal relationships, like Breakfast Club, Vlad TV, Power, 105, like just all this other stuff that I kind of curated myself along with my pull-ups.
Right.
And so I'm thinking, well, I did all of that. Then it's about to be even more crazy now that I got this movie coming too.
Yep.
Nothing, bro. So the only press that I did was press from the movie publicist, but not like for my music.
Right.
So that was like frustrating, right? So the movie comes out, it kills, did $500 million in the box office. We wasn't expecting that, you know, and top 10 movie of the entire year. And I got nothing.
Nothing?
Nothing. And then not only did I get nothing press-wise, I got no jobs. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like I know I did a good job on there. I know I test high in the film. Like, what is happening? So I fired everybody. Like, I was like, and I'm non-confrontational. Like, I'm just like I stayed stuck in a fucking relationship that I didn't want to be in for 6 years just because what I'm going to do. I'm just here. Like, okay, I'm just going to live my life and be miserable. I don't know what to do. So I'm not the person to leave my agents or managers or none of that shit, you know. But I couldn't. I was so flabbergasted with just how is nothing happening for me. So I fired everybody, publicists, all of that shit. Right. And I've never gone 2 years like without working as an actor. And this is before, like, I've been in this business 20 years.
Yeah, man.
And I've never gone that long without. This is the first time. So I ended up having a meeting with my first agent, who is now a manager, and he met with me, and I told him, I was like, yo, I'm with my manager, and I don't know how to get out of this situation. And anyway, I ended up trusting my old agent, who was my boy, you know, and the only reason we separated because he left from being an agent to become a manager. I didn't go with him when he became a manager. Right. He went on to become a manager at one place, then he went to another place, then he landed at like this like really legit place. And so I ended up going with him. And he said, Paige, so look, when we worked together before, you look different. Because, you know, I always been like a fit dude like my whole life. It wasn't until fucking 2-3 years ago I turned into Faison Love. So I don't, you know what I mean? So he was like, what happened? I was like, man, I don't know. I'm working my ass off like at the gym. Like I cannot get a hold of this eating thing. I got an addiction to food. And he was like, well, what are our options? And we laid out all the options on the table. And then he told me, he said, you know, I have this really close friend of mine, Dr. Basseri. You should go see him and just talk to him and see, you know, what you think. Now Dr. Basseri is a doctor who does like the surgeries. He does gastric bypass, gastric sleeve, like all of these different things.
Everything with the gas.
Yeah, everything with the gas. So so I went and I met with him, and then, you know, we tried to see like would my insurance like cover this, because this is an expensive process to think about the sleeve, the gastric sleeve, and it was like a long process that you had to go through for the insurance, and I was like, I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm gonna have to just try and figure this out on my own. And he was like, listen, I think that you could like lose 30 pounds on your own, but then what's gonna happen as you get older, you're just gonna like gain that back. Like this will change your entire life. It will make you healthy. It would. And so I'm listening to him, and I was pre-diabetic. I had high blood pressure. I was completely unhappy, bro. Like I wouldn't go nowhere. I would just stay in the house, because to go somewhere means what? I gotta go fucking try and find clothes to put on. I don't have clothes that I can put on that I'm comfortable in. So I only wore sweatpants, I only wore big ass fucking, like, I wore the same shit every day because it's my fat people clothes. Like, and so I didn't want to go nowhere. I hated the way I looked. And so he was like, it'll change your life. And so we ended up deciding to go with it. So February 14th last year, I had the gastric sleeve surgery.
Okay.
Which that is a tool to help me not overeat. I don't want the perception to be, oh, you had surgery, so of course you look like that. Because that's not the case. Like, most people that have this surgery don't look like me.
That is
like,
a fact.
you know, they look different. They lose a lot of weight, but they still look. They can't have their clothes. Yeah, they just like melting. You know what I mean? Like, like they're not gonna have their clothes on because it's disgusting.
Let's turn the light off.
Like in their clothes, they look fantastic.
That's
like,
incredible.
Oh, it's great. But you take that shit off, nigga, and everything melt. But because what I looked like anyway, underneath all that fat was the way it was. This gave me a tool to not overeat, and by not overeating, that helped to start the process of me losing the weight. But then I was so diligent and focused, and because I trained my mind by doing those other things,
the 100 days,
I went back
days.
to the gym. I started. So you're supposed to wait 6 weeks before you go back to the gym, bro. I could not.
Don't say it. How fast did you go back?
I literally went back to the gym 1 week after surgery because I could not take it. Now, I wasn't like lifting weights and shit, but because I had to like walk so much, they make you walk. And what's cool is, you know, it's funny like how certain things happen to force you to see certain things.
Yeah.
I never have walked in my neighborhood before. Because why the fuck would I do that? I have a car. Like, what? But because I had this surgery and they tell you have to walk, I was like walking around a corner, walking around just because that's what they told me to do.
Yeah.
And like walking around your neighborhood is interesting because you have a slow view of the houses, the slow view of everything that you pass every day that you don't pay attention to because you just driving, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like looking at shit, I'm like, wow, this is a nice neighborhood. Look at this house. I've never seen this house before. I've never seen this street before.
Yeah.
You know, so because I was walking anyway, I was like, well, I guess I could go walk on the treadmill if I wanted to, you know? So I started going back to the gym and I started to like walk on the treadmill. Eventually, in 2 weeks, I got on an elliptical. You know, I started lifting light weights probably like 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks after surgery, you know. But I was so focused and I was so dedicated. And you know, the first almost 3 weeks of it, you're so limited in what you could eat in the first place. But Tim got on the keto diet with me, so he also was like doing something. And man, I just became obsessed with myself and growing myself, you know. And so I would eat clean. I would only eat protein and vegetables, you know, but I also would go to the gym all the time. And it became an obsession for me. So like 3 months in, I'm progressing at a different rate than someone else normally my size, because my mind is trained and because of what my body was like anyway, it's starting to, you know what I mean? And so I was killing it in the gym. Sometimes like this summer, I think I was working out 5 hours a day. Like I would go to the gym for like 3 hours, and this is everything. This is like, you know, when you hear 3 hours, it's not like 3 hours intense working out. It's like it's everything that goes with going to the gym. Going there and you do weights and you do different types of weights and then you do different types of cardio, whether that's the elliptical plus bike. Then you also do the sauna. And I would go home after all of that, and then I would swim in my pool.
I heard that was amazing.
Yeah. So I would swim like 30 laps in my pool, which is something that I never would ever do before. So it was all of that. And because I still wasn't fucking working, I didn't have nothing else to do in my life but to work out.
Yeah.
And so that's all I did. I worked out super hard. And yeah, man. So that whole long ass thing is what the process has been. We're coming up on this anniversary, a month from now. Mm-hmm. My goal was to lose 120 pounds, and that's still my goal, even though technically that's going to be smaller than I probably should or want to be. Mm-hmm. But I want to give myself room in case I gain 10 to 20 pounds back. It won't kill me. Like now, if I gain 20 pounds, I'm going to feel bad, you know. But like if I get down to 200 pounds, which is what I am, lean muscle, that's like with no fat, 200 pounds, I'm that. I'll look like a crackhead in my clothes, but I will be happy because I'll be like super fit, you know, and I want to look like a superhero, like, because it's amazing to me, like 20s and 30s, like I can look better now than I did then, which is awesome to do as you get older. And so, yeah, that's been my main focus, like all of 2019, because I did not work, was to work on myself. And that was the best project that I've had in such a long time, is to work on yourself and be happy. Yeah. Like, and he was right. It gave me a whole new life. It gave me a whole new everything, because at the way I was just waiting to die. I'm man, I'm just sitting here waiting till I die, you know? And this it shaved like 10 years off of my life.
No,
like,
you back to 22.
Age. Yeah, hey, you know what I'm saying? Hey, good looks, man. You know, it just changed everything for me. You know, I'm no longer pre-diabetic. I don't have high blood pressure. Like, my health is impeccable. If something happened right now, I could run somewhere. That's dope. Like before, if a catastrophe happened, I'm just waiting to die. Just go ahead, Lord, take me. What you want me to do? Huh? Yeah. My kids like, save me, nigga. What am I supposed to do? What I'm gonna do? Yeah.
So first, congratulations, dude. That's amazing, man. For me, well, you don't know this. I've been a fan of yours since before I even met you. Coming from Detroit, man. I'm talking about Leprechaun back to the hood.
Oh my God.
You know
all
what I mean?
The black people in the world, that's the first thing they say to me. Nigga, you from Leprechaun.
Leprechaun. Because so I'm from Detroit, and I'm in high school at the time, and I realized we had a mutual friend. My best friend Jakari, his dad, Pharaoh, is like, oh yeah, we know Paige. I'm like, what? They're like, yeah. I'm like, this dude is hilarious. And then I continue to see Weeds and Blue Mountain State and everything you've done. I know how hard it is to make it from Detroit. Yeah. How did you get, because first of all, let's back up. Tell me if this is true. You snuck into Sony Studios and dropped off your headshot as if you were a messenger, and that's how you booked your first TV role.
Yes, man.
How?
I came from, all right, like you said, Detroit. It's very difficult to get out of there. Yeah. You know, and I was on my own. So my dad, who was the person that raised me, that I lived with for the majority of my life, he died when I was 16. I was 16. I was in the 11th grade. It was at the end of the 11th grade year, and I was going to my senior year. So I was 16 as a senior, too, which was early.
Incredible.
It was very early, right? And so he died. So I'm in this house by myself at 16 in high school, but my dad used to, like, fuck me up about school. So it's not like all my other friends, they were 16, they was on their own. They wouldn't go to school. They'll do whatever the hell they want. But me, because of just who I am, and like I said, I was scary because he made me scary, which kept me out of trouble. You know what I mean? I you know, even though he was gone, I still was like, I'm taking my ass to school, and I had my head on straight. So I graduated high school. I went to Grand Rapids Community College first to play football, but I got in the theater there. And so I did 2 years there because I was on the dean's list, and I had never been like that, excelled that well academically in school, so I just wanted to finish. Then I went to Western Michigan University, which was the best school in Michigan for theater. And then after that, I could have went to LA then, but I said, you know what? My dad had a master's and he's so big on school. I want to continue my education because I don't want to just be a good actor. I want to be a great actor.
Yeah.
And Shakespeare was my favorite playwright at the time. And so I went to try to get to graduate school. And for graduate schools, they have these things called ERDAs. ERDAs is when all of the graduate schools in the country, they go to different regions of the country at different points in time, and they audition the kids that are in undergrad for graduate school. And so I did the ERDAs in Chicago, and I broke my school's history of callbacks. I got 19 callbacks. 19 schools were interested in me. And it was crazy because they were flying me into these schools like they was recruiting a basketball player.
Yeah, that's what
like
it
they don't
like.
do that for actors. Like it's you go or you. But they wanted me so bad they would fly me in and really try and recruit me to go there. And University of Delaware, they wanted me bad. Now, that the way that they do their program is different than everyone else's. They take 1 year, they go get their class for the whole 3 years. Now, usually the schools go every year, right? They go every year to get the new class. But Delaware doesn't do that. They take, it's like a 4-year process. So the 3 years is to all the kids that they got, and then on that 4th year is when they go and they get the one class that they're going to keep the whole 3 years.
Almost like elementary school.
Yeah,
The same class.
right. So with that, they said whatever school offers you anything, we're going to match it. You know, and I required a lot because I had 2 kids, so I had child support that they needed to cover for me and my stipend. Otherwise, my ass would be going to jail. So I went to graduate school for Shakespeare, but then I ended up leaving early because, you know, as they said, they were teaching me to do great plays on great stages, not to go fuck it up with Hollywood stuff. And I always wanted to be a movie star my whole life. So I ended up leaving like February of 2001. I left school and I came to Hollywood just on a whim. I stayed on somebody's couch. I didn't have a job. I didn't have an agent. I didn't have nothing. And I had done the Idaho Shakespeare Festival the summer before, and a guy there lived in Los Angeles. He said, you ever come, hit me up, we'll talk. And I met with him for lunch. He told me about these things called breakdowns that he would get, and there was a breakdown for a pilot called The Kennedys. And I was like, that's funny. So I didn't even know what a pilot was. I just got here. I've been here a couple weeks?
Fresh off the I'm Gonna Make It
bus.
Fresh
off the I'm Gonna Make It bus. And he was like, a pilot is a potential series that they'll shoot one episode of and find out if they want to make it into more. So I was like, okay. He was like, you should go to this audition. They've been looking for this character and not been able to find it. And I was like, I've never had an audition before. What do I do? I don't know. And he was like, well, it's at Sony Studios. So you just show up and tell them you're a courier. And I said, what's a courier? I didn't even know what a courier was. I'm like, I don't know what a courier is. He's like, just tell them that you're making a delivery because people come to these things and make deliveries all the time. Tell them you're a courier. And I was like, all right. And the funny thing about that is one of my friends from college was out here too, and he had the car. I ain't had no car. And I asked him to take me. And so it's 2 niggas fucking driving to Sony Studios, talk about they making a delivery. Why would you need 2 niggas if you're a delivery person? You don't get to bring your friend along with you to work. But this was pre 9/11, so they let us in.
Yeah.
I had my headshot. We went to the place, and I told my boy Casey, I was like, yo, listen. It's 2 doors here. There's an assistant and a casting director. You don't want to go to the assistant. You want to go to the casting director. Bruh, we went past the door. The assistant just brought her ass out. It's like, can I help you? And I was like, yeah, we here to audition for the Kennedys. And she was like, well, we're not even auditioning yet. We just got here. Like they were just setting up themselves. They hadn't even set up auditions and stuff yet. But I was like, oh, okay. Because I don't know shit about shit. So I'm like, all right, well, here's my headshot resume. Resume just all theater. No, nothing but just theater. And she was like, okay, are you representing yourself? And I was like, yeah. She was like, okay, fine. And basically, I left, and 5 days later, I get a call from her saying, okay, we want to bring you in to read for this. And so I was excited about that because, it worked. I went in, I read for her, and she was like, oh, just wait right here. I got to go get somebody. She went and got the casting director. She came in. And look, what's crazy is this is my first audition. I don't know nothing about nothing. I don't know how to be nervous about anything because I don't know what the process, you know what I'm saying? I'm just there, and I'm being super dry too. And they're laughing when I'm like barely doing anything. I'm like, is it this easy? So I left. They had me come back again for like a producer session. Same thing. The casting director's in the room, and then there's like 2 producers, and I'm barely doing anything, and they're cracking up. And I'm like, is this how all the auditions are? They just laugh.
I wish.
I got to the car because then I borrowed my uncle's car to get there.
Yeah.
And they said, look, we want you to test. I didn't know what a test was. Do you have someone to negotiate your deal? Now, when I first got there, my friend had an agent, and he got me an interview with the agent. But the agent told me no because I didn't have.
Yep.
I had nothing. I had no credits. I had no nothing. They were like, well, you need to go do student director films or something to build up a resume or something, which I didn't want to do. I just spent years to be a doctor in college, being an actor. I don't want to go through all this shit again. So I was like, well, if I get something on my own, will you guys like handle it? And they was like, yeah, sure. So when CBS asked me, did I have someone to negotiate my deal, I brought up this agency that I had a meeting with. So CBS called and said, do you know Paige Kennedy? And they were like, why? And they were like, oh, we want him to test for a network pilot. And
Yeah,
like,
we
oh,
know.
yeah, of
We
course,
know.
we love Paige.
He's the
best. He's awesome. And look, you would imagine that some people would feel some kind of way about that, and they would have like tried to go somewhere else, like, fuck y'all ain't want me on, but not me, because I told you I'm non-confrontational. I don't want no trouble. Like, I'm like, yeah, I know you don't give a fuck about me, and you don't, but I'll take it, you know what I'm saying? That's just how I am. So yeah, I got that part. I got that role. That was my first role. They had to Taft Hardy me and everything. Incredible. I thought my life was going to change because James Avery was playing my dad, and I'm a rapper. So when I went to that first table read and I walked in a room and I saw James Avery, Uncle Phil, like standing talking to somebody over there, I walked in this room, bro. It's like all of these scripts on the table, all these things. All I see is his big ass standing there. And I immediately had to run to the bathroom because I started crying. I didn't want nobody to see me cry. I started crying because my brain said, I'm about to be the next Will Smith. Yeah. I'm this rapper. This is my dad. He was Uncle Phil. Nigga, I'm about to be Will Smith. Like, I'm crying in the bathroom. I don't want nobody to see it. And it was crazy, man. So anyway, we ended up shooting the pilot, doing it, and it didn't get picked up. But it gave me enough money to start me off because I had nothing when I first got here. It also taught me like how this business works in money and how crazy it is that people don't know, which I'll share because they don't know this. So I got paid $25,000 for that pilot.
Amazing.
Right? Hold on.
Especially back then, I'm talking about inflation.
Inflation. But 1 second to see if you the same as how they are.
No.
$25,000, right? I'm like, oh shit, I ain't never seen no $25,000 in my life, right? When I got my check, what do you think it was for?
I think your check, $25,000, might have been $8,000 to $12,000.
I got my check of $25,000. In my brain, when I'm calculating everything they gotta go, I'm like, okay, out of that, all right, I'm probably gonna get they probably give me like 15. I'm probably gonna get a nice little 15.
Get a nice 15.
I got my check, it was $9,000. Bruh, I cried again. Because I'm trying to figure out what to do with this money because I got nothing and I know I got, you know what I mean? I got a check for $9,000 and I was like, where the rest of it at? Yep. How is this possible? And because taxes, all that shit, man. you know, because with taxes, they put you on the highest tax bracket because they figure you make this every week. And so it was a learning experience. I took that $9,000. I got me an apartment, the same apartment that I'm still in 20 years later.
Oh, nice.
Yes, I'm still in the same apartment. I moved all the way to Culver City, away from everybody in the world, because I'm thinking I'm going to be working right here at Sony.
There, which is smart.
But it didn't work because it didn't get picked up. And so, but that got me my agency. That got me legitimized because I did a series regular pilot, and it got me into doing real auditions for movies and TV shows. When all my friends that came from college struggling to get an agent, doing little bullshit ass parts, like I didn't audition for anything less than a guest star after that. So I didn't have to go through the process of being an extra or doing co-stars, of like working my way up. I came in boom big, and then I was able to sustain that and continue to grow from it.
Take me to, this is a question I've always wanted to ask, because yes, Leprechaun, Back to the Hood.
Which was my first movie.
Man, you were incredible.
That was my first movie I booked. I was happy as hell when I got that too, because it was a big part.
So to see that, and then to go on for me to see Weeds and be like, oh, this guy as U-Turn is amazing. What happened? Why did you leave the show? Was it written for you to die originally? Or did you be like, or were you like, all right, I'm out?
Nah, the all right, I'm out stories are interesting because I'm like, how, Sway? How? You got a contract. You can't just be like, all right, I'm cool. But no. Well, it's funny you asked, was it written for me to die originally? It wasn't even written for me to be there originally.
What?
Yes, that role U-Turn was a guest star along with a bunch of other guest stars that Romany Malco's character had to meet with in trying to, sell this idea that we want to grow ourselves.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just me. It was me. Chris Williams played a character in that one. What's the light-skinned comedian name? I forget his name, but he was in it. It was like 4 of us that the characters went to trying to get money from. But it was just, my character was so quirky and interesting in that episode. And like the want a piece of avocado, it got that good fat line, kept making Romany break character every time. We never got, if you watch that, there was never a take that he did not break character on that. And like, because of that, they were like, okay, this guy's interesting. So I was the only one that they brought back to recur. Yeah. And so I recurred like probably like 4 times that season. And then once again, the internet cry for the character was so big that on the Mexican standoff at the end of season 2, it could have went any way, because you got the Armenian guys with the guns, you got me and Marvin with the guns, you got her, like anything could have happened, but because my character was so like sought after, they made it where I then became like the ruler of like this season 3 of what was happening. And the reason I had to die is because I had to die. Because I was the antagonist to the lead person. And so the person that you're rooting for, like, I'm in her way of that. And so for her to grow and progress to move on, like, she had to get rid of the threat, which was me. And so, man, that was a tough thing, man, because me and Mary Louise Parker got super duper close. I mean, we still talk to this day.
Oh, nice.
And everybody cried, like on my last day. They threw a party for me. They stopped the whole production. They brought cake, and they stopped it for like an hour. That's dope. It was such a dope send off. It was such a dope show, and I grew as an actor from that role, because before that role, there's this thing called the TV villain voice. And I see white people do that all the time because I study, I watch everything on TV and all movies. I go to movies every Friday. I watch everything that's on TV because I study. I want to be better. I want to be better.
About you to the Entourage. Watch AMC A-list.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That's my thing.
AMC A-list. So I used to see them do this sound. Yeah. And I was like, why do they talk like that? So I try to mimic that sound, and I always sounded stupid. And it wasn't until the second season 3 of Weeds, when we started off the first episode, and I was controlling the whole episode, and I got sick. I had like the flu, or I had something where I was sick, right? So all my voice is groggly, my energy is super low because I'm weak, but I still had to act.
Gotta act.
And because of that, my body itself took its time moving slow because I'm weak. And my voice just kind of was dark and deep. And I took that energy and I put that into being direct with her when I'm talking to her and telling her that she don't have my money, how I'm going to take and float her kids the way she did my weed. And like, that became euphoric for me. I'm like, oh shit, I'm doing that shit that, and then she switched. Because in season 2, she talked to me. I didn't get to talk. I wouldn't even look at her, bro. Like, if she had a temper tantrum on stage, I just don't look at her directly in the eyes, bro, because she could be scary, But in that season 3, she had this newfound respect for me, and she started to talk to me and share how she felt, and she wasn't like that with anybody. And so I was like, yo, this is crazy that through a mistake I found this color of my acting that I never had before. And so, and now I have that, and somebody else that I learned from who has something similar is Amari Hardwick. He has that quiet, scary intensity that, because before, I think, to be scary, you just be loud, crazy. Like, I didn't know that there's like other ways of. I mean, I did know because of Shakespeare, but I really learned later that you actually are scarier the quieter you are. And I didn't know that before, because we look at hood movies like Old Dog ain't quiet.
And everybody yelling, I'm going to tell you all.
That's what I thought, you know what I mean? But I learned this thing, and that's what I learned from doing weed. So no, the character was not originally supposed to die because he wasn't even supposed to be there. But
man, you had a hell of a run. Now, so, like, there's probably a few of us, when I'm talking about this transition of the internet. Now, there are several guys that come from the internet that go on to TV, but there are few of us that have been on TV that then go to the internet. What was your decision? What made you make the decision to go to the internet and start creating content?
What happened was, so all of those years that I've been acting, I was always U-turn or Radon. Are you the nigga from Leprechaun? I was the nigga from, right? I'm the nigga from. You the nigga from. They don't know what it is, but it's from something. Nigga, you from some shit.
Come on, man. What's the?
You know what you did. So I was like always that, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And then I start to get a couple friends that were doing YouTube, and some of my friends made more money than some of my acting friends. And I was like, what is this? Because I thought YouTube was just for like cats and babies falling.
That's what they want you to think.
Music. I didn't know people had full-on channels where they was getting rich off of. And so I just started to like get more information about it. And then the first person that I saw doing internet content was Spoken Reasons. Niall Evans used to be big on Twitter. And he tweeted out, yo, this guy's crazy funny. Spoken Reasons. So I clicked on the YouTube link, and he was just ranting in front of the camera. But I thought it was hilarious. Like, I had never seen something like that before. Just him just screaming at the camera about something with all these different, like jump cuts. I'm like, why is the camera jump cut? Because I'm from, you supposed to have a different scene. Like, why the fuck is it just jump cutting? This is so weird, but I love it. And so I started looking at that, and then I started to, like, be more interested in more, like YouTube people that was doing stuff. So then I saw Timothy De La Ghetto and Ricky Shucks, and so I reached out to Spoken Reasons and Ricky Shucks, and I befriended them, and then I start to try to do my own things, And then Ricky Shucks, shout out to him, because I was just doing my own stuff myself.
Yeah.
But he was with a network, right? And he introduced me to the people at Maker Studios.
How about that?
And they decided to take me on, and at the time, Maker Studios was like a startup company, so they had all this money to just do whatever they want to do with it. So once I got with Maker Studios and I had these ideas, they was like, anything you want to do, we could do it. So I was like, okay. So I was like, well, I'm a rapper and I got this song called Toy Friend. I want to do a video for it where I'm a sex superhero. Bro, they made me a full-on costume.
Man.
They made me, like, I don't know if you ever seen the Toy Friend video, but it's so dope, man. It's like one of my favorite videos all time. Like,
now I'm gonna watch it.
I'm like flying around and shit, like women are horny and I'm like flying at them and taking care of them. And like, you know, it was so awesome, man. And I just kept doing like other different videos. I Hate My Baby Mama. They like made me to like Lil Man, where I'm like different characters, like little, you know, and it was awesome. And I was doing like bigger skits, you know, like me and Tiffany had we have like tons of skits together. And Brescia Webb, like I got skits with like Fonzo, Tiffany, and Brescia, and us like doing these bigger YouTube videos together. You know, before any of us like really popped.
Right.
Like, we all was like working, but you know, and then what happened? Maybe like a year or two happened, and then they had to become like the regular company, so I had to cut budgets and all that. So all of my budgets of my videos that they was giving me to just do whatever I wanted had to be justified. Like, I needed to have views to justify why they would spend a budget of $7,000 on my video when I'm getting 3,000 views. So they cut my shit, and I had to just do my own stuff. And I eventually left Maker, but because I was in the YouTube world, I ran across a young cat who reminded me of Spoken Reasons, but had a different energy. But this dude had videos that looked like movies on the internet. And I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
I'm like looking at his videos, and nobody, even the rich people, didn't have videos that had this type of like quality in it. And he didn't have no followers. He was getting no views. He's getting like 1,000 views on this video that looked like it cost like. So I reached out to him, and his name was King Batch. And so me and Batch got super cool, super fast. And like I said, I'm like a real actor still. So I'm like in movies and TV while all of this is happening. And we started doing vlogs on YouTube, and that was the new thing that we were doing. We were vlogging everything, right? And during that time is when I got Backstrom, the cop show that I filmed in Vancouver. So I had to leave to go to Vancouver, right? And I just went to go shoot the pilot. While I was doing the pilot, I'm still doing vlogs, but then while I'm in Vancouver, I see Batch is telling me about this new app that he's on, and he's like growing super fast. So I don't know what this app is. He's like, oh, it's 6 seconds, and it's just like funny stuff. And to me, I'm like, 6 seconds? Man, I'm doing all this content. It's like, what do you mean 6 seconds? My vlog is like 10 minutes. 6 seconds? What am I supposed to do with that? I come back. He's like showing me like all these numbers that he's growing. And so at first, I'm just doing videos for him, because I don't know about this app. I got a flip phone and a Droid. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? So eventually, you know, I start to make my own Vine account, you know, and Batch already is like at over 100,000 followers. And to me and to us, that's unheard of, because we've been doing YouTube for years, and we ain't cracking 10,000 subscribers. You know, and he make 100,000 in like 2 weeks. So I'm like, okay, I'm jumping on. So I get my first 10,000 followers in like 2 weeks of being on there. Now, to me, that's incredible. It's 10,000 followers, bro. I ain't even had 10,000 followers on YouTube, and I got full-on videos. So then we start going and going. Everybody's growing. Then we got like a collection of people that's all like getting together all the time. And then we get to Daystorm House, and Daystorm like, look, we gotta go in for. So now this is like, this is the summer. I think this is before I went to shoot the series of Backstrom. Yeah. This was before I shot the series. I had just shot the pilot.
Yeah.
Then and they didn't pick us up. So we had to wait a whole year around while they kept us on hold.
Yeah.
You know, and then they changed networks. And so that summer after I shot the pilot, I was free because I ain't had shit going on.
Yeah.
You know, I was on hold with the show, so I couldn't do nothing else. So they're like, 9 to 5, let's get to work. We made it a job. 9 to 5, everybody meet at Daystorm House, and we just fucking shooting vines. Like, it's just 30 of us. Like, or not 30, but it's like 15 to 20 people just there shooting vines every single day. And then we're just growing. And it just got crazy. And so, to answer your question, why did I want to do that is because I wanted to become Paige Kennedy, as opposed to the nigga from, and by doing my own content made me Paige Kennedy, because before that, don't nobody know my name. Like, it's tons of actors you didn't seen for years. You don't know their name. You know their face. You don't know their name. And so this gave me an opportunity to be me. Because I'm doing Gerald for CBS, but I'm Paige Kennedy for Paige Kennedy's channel.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so that was what was the catalyst to make me want to do my own content. And then also I wanted to grow a following, so then I could then take that over to what I really wanted them to do, which was my music.
Exactly. Which is that for me has been the only reason I started doing social media. I hopped on you're one of the forefathers of this social media game. I'm but a lowly new guy in school.
Hey, that's all right, man. We all start when we start.
It was just to get the base to come to my shows. So no matter where I was, they would come. And it's like, the byproduct is great as far as, the fame, the money, the people you're able to impact is amazing, but just to get them to come see me live. But this has been an incredible conversation, man. I'm
sorry I fucking talked too long. And
that's what you're supposed to do.
He's like, I got 39 other questions in your ass. I only got the 3.
Let me tell you something. When you truly do a good interview, you don't even have to go to the questions. The people who end up going to the questions a lot is because the guest doesn't give them shit. So I'm like, man, so how was it working on this film? Oh, it was good. All right, next one. So how did it feel to do this? Oh, that was cool too. All right.
Okay, what we got?
So the best is the conversation and hearing the guests speak, man. And it's been an honor having you, dude. And Kickin with Clayton, dude. Appreciate you, brother.
What's up, man. Thank you very much for having me. I'm glad we got it in. And I appreciate you. I watch you. I love your hustle. And thank you for having me on, bro.
Man, thank you. Detroit all day, brother.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? 313, Detroit versus everybody. You know what it is.